Fire is the most dangerous thing that can happen on an airplane. So what's stopping us from turning into a smoking ball of fire? You're about to find out. Welcome back to Aviator Inspirations. On this channel, I take the mystery out of the aviation industry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. In this video, I'm going to explain the fire protection system of the Dash 8 Q400 aircraft. From the first indication that there's a fire on board, the crew has approximately 17 minutes to get the airplane on the ground before the fire becomes unsurvivable. To put that into perspective, to descend from 25,000 feet to sea level at 2,500 feet per minute is going to take 10 minutes, then another 5 minutes for the approach, and we only have 2 minutes to spare, assuming there's an airport nearby. That's why having a fire protection system is so vital. There are 3 places a fire can start: the cabin, the engines, and the baggage compartments. Let's start with the cabin. Causes of a fire in the cabin can be from the galley, where there's an electrical malfunction, in the lavatory, where people are trying to smoke, or from the overhead bins from lithium-ion batteries. There have also been fires from people charging their vape pens at their seat. If a fire starts in the cabin, there are 4 fire extinguishers on board, 1 in the flight deck and 3 in the cabin. Each extinguisher contains halon 1211, which is very effective on electrical, oil, and fuel fires. It is non-corrosive or toxic and will not freeze or cause cold burns, making it ideal to use on airplanes. There are no smoke detectors in the cabin, so it's up to each individual to report any unusual smells or burning sensations to the flight crew. In the lavatory, however, there is a smoke detector and it's super sensitive. It's a photoelectric smoke detector, meaning it uses light to sense the slightest reduction in visibility. Now, to all of you vapors out there who think you can get away with vaping in the lavatory, I'm here to warn you against it. If I have 17 minutes to get an aircraft on the ground and the smoke detector goes off in the lavatory, I'm not going to ask any questions and initiate a rapid descent. So if you want to risk that and have the RCMP meet you on the ground, then it's all up to you. Now, if a fire did start in the waste bin of the lab, there is a thermally activated fire bottle. It activates automatically when the fire melts the seal, and it discharges all the suppressant into the waste bin. Next, if you ever paid attention to the safety demonstration on the Q400, many people don't pay attention to those, but have you noticed that they never talk about drop-down masks? That's because there are none on a Q400. There is supplemental oxygen that we carry on board for medical reasons and Transport Canada requirements, but to conserve weight and cost, there are no drop-down masks. The next place a fire can start is in our engines. Although very rare these days, we still need to be able to put out a fire in case of a fuel or hydraulic leak. Because the engines are so far back and we can't really see them from the flight deck, each engine has a fire monitoring system. There are 2 fire loops on each engine that when they sense fire, they give us an indication in the flight deck. There is a loop A and a loop B for redundancy. If a fire starts, these loops expand and trigger several warnings in the flight deck. We get an engine fire light and a master warning light on the glare shield. Then we look at our warning panel and the check fire detect light will be illuminated. This light makes us look up at our fire protection panel and we will see the illuminated T-handle. The first thing we will do as pilots is don our oxygen masks, and then we will pull out our QRC, or Quick Reference Checklist. In case of an engine fire in flight, we will move our power lever to flight idle, move the condition lever to fuel off, which shuts off the fuel at the engine and feathers the propeller. Then we would pull the T-handle, which shuts off the fuel in the fuel tank and shuts off the hydraulics. If shutting off the fuel doesn't stop the fire, we have 2 fire bottles installed in the wing root, a forward bottle and an aft bottle. We discharge 1 bottle at a time, in the hopes that one will extinguish the fire because we only have 2 bottles available. The last place that a fire can occur is in our baggage compartments. Unlike on larger aircraft like the 737 where the bags are stored on the bottom of the fuselage, on the Q400 the bags are actually stored in the aft and forward of the fuselage. So there are 2 baggage compartments on the Q400 and they each have their own smoke detector. If smoke is detected, it sends a signal to the flight deck, activates the same warning lights on the glare shield, the smoke master warning light on the warning panel, and we tell which baggage compartment is on fire by the illumination of the extinguish light for the appropriate baggage compartment. Taking a look at the QRC, all we have to do is press the illuminated extinguish switch and the system does the rest. It fires the high rate extinguisher and then the low rate extinguisher, fighting the fire for approximately 22 minutes. As you can tell, these fire protection systems are extremely important, so on the first flight of the day, the flight crew tests each system to make sure it's functioning correctly and all the lights turn on. The airplane makes it very simple by having test buttons. We test both engines, followed by the forward baggage compartment and then the aft baggage compartment. And that's the fire protection system on a Dash 8 Q400. If you guys want more details about airplane systems, one-on-one coaching, or to talk to me about your career, check out my Patreon page. There you can get exclusive content about flight schools, airlines in Canada, you get early access to videos, and the ability to talk to me in person. Smash like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you on Patreon.